All right. Welcome, everybody, to Hiker Hangout. All right. Thank you guys for being here. We've got quite a show for you tonight and some guests that maybe you've seen before, maybe you haven't. So with that being said, I want to go ahead and pass the mic to Crow. How you doing, my friend?
What's up, Andy? How's it going? I see you got John and David here. That's all right. All right.
That's right. We also have Dave off grid.
Hey, hi, guys.
How you doing, my friend? All the way on the West Coast. Glad you could make it here for this 8 o'clock Eastern premiere.
How's it going, guys? Honored to be here.
Awesome. Glad to have you. And, of course, the man, the myth, the legend, Senior Hiker 77. How you doing, John?
Oh, yes.
All right.
Doing good. Still alive.
Well, guys, I want to say thank you to
Paul
everyone
Farrell would square.
on today's call and on today's episode here of Hiker Hangout. This is our third episode, and what we're trying to do here is just bring on random guests at the last minute. It's kind of like non-scripted, just talking about what happened in the week and obviously what's going on in the guest's life. That's what we want to hear about. That's what we're doing here on Hiker Hangout. So with that being said, I do have a few topics that I want to dive into today, and I'm going to throw out one of them, which is coffee. But we'll kind of group back to that a little bit later because it does have to do with some of the new gear I got. Some other things that I want to talk about is, since it's getting cold, the fleece, different things that you can use to layer up and stay warm, like fleece and various other products that are out there. I might have another unboxing or something to showcase relating to that as well. But before we get into all that, obviously we have some guests on today's show, and everybody wants to know what's going on, not necessarily in my life, but, let's find out what's going on in these other hikers' lives. So, Crow, how you been, my friend? What have you been up to? I'd love to hear what's going on in your upcoming plans.
Upcoming plans, I guess, headed probably, it's a little bit up in the air, but I'm hoping to do the Alabama portion of the Pinhoti at the end of December. And I've done all the sections, but never done it just all the way through. So, with Alabama weather, you just never know into December, but I hope to do that. And then the Alabama Triple Crown, I know you went last year. I can't believe it, but we're actually doing it again. And this year, I think I'm going to do it twice. I'm going to do it 2 weekends in a row in March. I've got, the wilderness only allows you to have 10 people in a group. So
right,
I'm going to take 10 people each weekend, and I'm going to see if my body will hold up for 2 weekends in a row. That'd be basically 6 20-mile days. Hopefully I can do it.
6 20-mile. So what is the Pinhoti section in Alabama? How many miles is that?
I think it's 177 or 178, something like that.
And you're planning to do that in 7 or 8 days as well?
I think 8, maybe 9. It just depends. It's though the elevation is not that high. You've seen it. Like, there are sections of it. We don't do switchbacks well in the Southeast. They just don't. They just go straight up and straight down. I don't think the trails were made very well or something. So I'm hoping to be able to make it with all that roller coaster ride of the elevations and Duggar and Cheaha. But we'll see. I mean, I was hoping somebody was going with me, but they kind of backed out at the last minute. So, I kind of get scared in the woods at night. So we'll see how it goes.
Well, I wanted to join you for that, but the dates that you're doing it are going into the beginning part of the year. And unfortunately for me, after the new year, my boss is saying, hey, you need to be in the office. So if you're watching this, I'm thinking about your boss on a Friday night. But with that being said, I also want to introduce Dave Off Grid. How are you doing, my friend?
I'm doing well. Thanks again for having me.
Oh, glad to have you. You just got done with a recent hike yourself, about 28 to 30 something miles out in California. Wasn't it the Trans-Catalina Trail?
Yeah, the Trans-Catalina Trail, or TCT for short. It's basically an island that's just south of the Channel Islands, still in Southern California, but off of the port. So you have to take a boat to get there. The whole trail is about 40 miles long, and had some things that kind of derailed me, but still had a blast when I was out there, and I would highly recommend it. So it was a great trail.
So with that being said, like, people like myself are very interested in hiking this trail. If you guys haven't heard of the Trans-Catalina Trail, it is a beautiful, beautiful trek out on an island. and just some stellar views. And you're pretty much out there by yourself. Besides, obviously, you've got, obviously civilization not too far off. But can you tell us what the experience is like in terms of how long in advance did you have to put your reservations in to get your campsites and things of that nature?
Yeah, that's a great question. You actually have to plan a little bit ahead of time. Really depends on what campsites you're trying to get. You have to be at pre-designated campsites. And if you want to kind of like split it up every like 6 to 10 miles for a campsite, then you'd have to book it probably at least a half a year in advance, something like 5 to 6 months in advance, because there's one in particular that's really hard to get. It's a dry camp, and they only have like 7 sites. So if you want to land that one, definitely a lot more months in advance. But I think I did mine around 2 months in advance, and I still didn't have a crazy problem. But it really also depends on the time of year that you go. So out here, for the most part, it's year round. So it really depends on the type of year that you go to. But you definitely, there's a little bit more to book, because like you said, like you got to get a boat to get out there. So it's a little bit harder to get to than just driving to the trailhead.
Can't you just swim it, Dave? You can swim, can't you? Just swim it.
I think Backpacker Bob could handle that, but I don't know if I could.
So giving some shout outs to people in the house here. Cash Max, what's up? What's going on? Gone Pharaoh with Squidly. Swag on the trail. It looks like we've got Modern Day Pilgrim here tonight. All terrain coffee and camping. What's going on, my friend? Following Walker's World, Tom. How you doing? Having a martini, hanging out with the hikers. Glad to have you. Fam5. What's going on, everyone? So we also have
that video from Tom, that last video from Tom, that was awesome. He kind of highlighted Senior Hiker 77. That was a great video, Tom.
It was a great video. In fact, Senior, now that you've got the stage here, why don't you talk about that video that you got from Tom? Obviously, there was a little bit of dedication there. What was your first thoughts on when you saw that video?
Well, actually, I messaged him and said I didn't know he thought that much of me. And guess what he said? He said, I don't. I just needed content. He said, I don't. Just needed content.
That is funny. That is funny.
Modern day. I want to call out that. I want to call out that modern day pilgrim, Nancy Faye. She's an intermediate channel, I guess, but she'll be interested in what you got to say later about your project, Andy. Okay?
Oh, definitely. We'll definitely do some of those announcements near the end.
While I'm talking, what I've got. Yeah. Well, what I got going on is with you is Thanksgiving weekend. Nicole hikes a lot, and Tim driving down to the Pine Mountain Trail, and we're not doing a through hike. We're not, I'm not doing that anymore. but they're gonna spend a couple of days on the trail with me, and you and Kevin, Atypical Hiker. So that's what's happening, or what's coming up in the near future. And
awesome.
Then I would shout out about Atypical Hiker, Kevin. Yeah, but he has a second. I mentioned it before. He has a second channel called Shade Tree Jet Ski, and it blew up on him as far as hours. That was a hard thing for me to get, was 4,000 watched hours. That was actually hard to do, but he's got like 8,000 watched hours on that second channel, but he don't have but about 650 subscribers. He's trying to get to 1,000. So I just want to give him a shout out. Shade Tree Jet Ski. Shade Tree is one word, jet ski. It's pretty interesting. It's not got anything to do with hiking, but if you into mechanics and fixing things, he's pretty knowledgeable about those jet skis. So that's it for me.
All right. Well, big shout out to Atypical Hiker, i.e. Shade Tree Jet Ski. Again, what we're talking about here on Hiker Hangout, again, it's kind of a non-scripted thing. We obviously have our group of hikers that we like to talk to and so forth. But to John's point, we're going to make an announcement a little bit later on in the show about how we're planning to pay it forward in some instances to other hikers within the hiker community. Obviously, everyone has a starting point, and we want to embrace those that are starting out, those that are getting their legs underneath them in terms of going out hiking, filming their adventures. But obviously broadening their reach and how we can help those that are on the come up, to acknowledge them and to obviously help them along their way. But before we get into all that, I do want to say that I have got a couple new things specific to coffee that I want to talk about. Now, we all love coffee. I got some new gear last week. In fact, I did a little Christmas shopping. I don't know if you guys saw, but REI had a huge sale going on last week. It was the get up, get out sale or something like that. 20% off. We all love a good discount. With that being said, I actually applied it to one of these items, and that's what I dive into. So when it comes to coffee, I'm sure we all do different things. Some like the instant coffees. Senior Hiker has brought up coffee before that's a little bit different than I've ever seen. In fact, when Crow and I through hiked the Pine Mountain Trail, one of the gifts that Senior Hiker 77 gave me was a 3-in-1 coffee, which had cream, sugar, and coffee all dehydrated in one. So that was like, wow, that's kind of different. I don't have to add anything to it. But obviously my taste has kind of progressed, and I'm starting to get burnt out with the freeze-dried coffee. So I'm trying to do some new stuff. But while I was at REI, I have 1, 2, 3 different things to show you in regards to coffee. So I'll start with the first one. In my big old bag of tricks here from REI, right? So again, I had a laundry list of things I picked up. They were on sale. So the first thing I got, which is more for glamping, was this French press here, man.
Whoa.
Only $12. So I don't know if it's still on sale or not. You might want to check that out, but it's a pretty good deal. It was at REI. The reason why they're selling it is because it's outdoor. If you drop it, it won't break. So for glamping, this might be something to consider. Just dump the coffee in there, heat it up. You can have coffee for all your friends with one batch. But what really caught my eye.
I want to see you bring that out on a camping trip.
Well, I would say it's more like for like.
Bring that out for everybody. You
maybe
said glamping. I know you did.
Maybe I will. But this is what I'm actually planning to take with me. And I was curious if you guys had seen this before. It's the AeroPress Coffee Go. Have you guys seen this before?
I have. Only on John Kelly's channel. I haven't seen it in the field yet.
Okay. So John Kelly did something on this.
Yep.
What I've heard is that obviously you're going to get a better tasting coffee, but it's almost like, in short, you put the coffee in there just like we saw with the French press. It's almost like a mini French press condensed into a coffee. So I'm like thinking to myself, it hardly weighs, well, I guess it does have a little bit of weight to it, but there's the weight on here. Just going into the box. But my point is I'm just going to start taking little things like this, little luxury items with me just to try and enhance my game on trail. But if you guys haven't tried this, I guess I'll put this into a video in the near future. The other thing that I picked up, which maybe is a little bit more likely to go with me on trail, is this right here. It's the GSI Ultralight Java Drip. Have you guys seen this before or used it?
I have one of those.
Okay.
Yeah, it works really well.
So do you put a filter inside this, or you just leave it inside the grounds and then shake it into the garbage bag? Well, how do you use this in your particular way?
Yeah, there's 2 different ways that you can do it. You can do it either way, but it really depends on what kind of like cleanup you're looking for. So if you want less of a cleanup, to just pack a filter, you can just do a filter, and it's easy to just take out and rinse real quick. If you don't, it still works the same for the most part. It's not like you're going to get a bunch of grounds in there, but there is a little bit more cleaning involved if you don't use a filter.
Well, I'm probably going to end up doing that. But anyway, thought I'd share that with you. That's some new stuff I picked up. It was on sale, so I guess I'm dropping some lines for REI here. Go ahead and check that out. I think it's pretty cool. I don't know if the sale just ended, but it was something great. Speaking of deals, though, have you guys seen all the different specials just rolling in before Black Friday? Do you guys have anything that you want to share in terms of deals that you picked up or things, new gear that you've been picking up over the past couple of weeks?
Man, I'm just saving for Christmas for my kids and stuff. If I go on one of those sites, I'm going to end up dropping everything I got.
Well, I mean, with Christmas coming, obviously you want to inspire them to get outdoors. So I'd be buying gifts, mainly for insurance, because if they don't like it, well, you probably know somebody that will like it. So it's like, look, I got you this new 10-degree Enlightened Equipment quilt. Here you go. They're like, oh, this isn't what I want. Like, you're right.
You're like, yeah, I'll take it.
Next year I'll do better. Here's a $50 gift card to Olive Garden. So, all right. So, any new gear, guys? Have you guys picked up anything over the past couple of weeks that you want to drop a line about?
I can jump in next. I have a few,
I
and
got
these
a
are
couple.
you're spoiling it for me, Andy, because I was going to save it for my channel, but I might as well
Oh
throw
no.
it out here as a first sneak peek. That's fine. I have a couple, and it's really just kind of like pushing for next year. So I have a UL kit that I've been building and getting closer towards. So found a few different deals. One was off of eBay, and that was my Z-Packs Nero. I'm going with super lightweight pack. Can't wait to try that out. And then Enlightened Equipment just had a garage sale. I'm not sure if you guys saw that, or a warehouse sale. And I just picked up from them. It was a 50-degree Apex Revelation quilt, and like their stock went insanely fast. I think it was like within a week or two. If you didn't jump on that, like you're out of luck. But I picked that up. Excited to try that one out. And then, believe it or not, I've been rooting around on AliExpress a little bit, and I have a new like UL stool that I want to try. That is also kind of going into that UL pack. Yeah, that's it right there. That's actually the exact same color and the exact same model. I didn't even tell you about that, but you got it right there, first shot. So it's
Boom.
dark green and DCF. They're now making this an Ultra too, but I got the DCF version.
That is sweet,
That,
man.
that looks sweet. I mean, I've always kind of liked that Nero. It's kind of in the sweet spot with that 38 liters, so not too much. But are you able to get all your gear in the 38 liters, Dave?
Yes, and the reason why I know that is I picked up a different pack as well. I won't say from who, but I got another UL one that I just recently sent back. And that one was a 36, and I still had a decent amount of space. So I know that it's gonna work for me. And their packs are a little bit wider in general, so it's nicer to fit like your wider stuff in it. And their side pockets are huge too.
I think Tom's wife had when they came down to Chiaha with me, she had the Nero, and it seemed like it worked well. She had everything she needed in it, but it was close. It's a close fit. 38 liters for me is kind of pushing it.
Yeah, I mean it's literally dedicated to just like a few nights, and I have a UL loadout that's right around 10 pounds. So that even with like food and water, I think is probably like pushing the limits. I think it's a 20-pound like total weight limit. But yeah, I'm excited. Can't wait to try it.
So it sounds like you've obviously been cutting down your gear too to obviously hit that level there. So can you tell me a little bit about what some of your big 3 items are?
Yeah, those actually, aside from the pack, hasn't really changed that much. I've been using Gossamer Gear's the 1 tent, which if you cut out like some of the guidelines, I got that down to about 21 ounces, very compact. Not the best for condensation, but is pretty lightweight without spending Z-Packs kind of money or DCF kind of money. And then what else? I mean, I guess the sleep system would be next. So like I just mentioned, the Enlightened Equipment quilt's going in there, and then the pad I use for summertime would be the Sea to Summit Etherlight XT non-insulated, which is right around 16 ounces, right around a pound.
Awesome, man. So you're breaking this down. You just got off that trail. What's the next big hike you're going to be taking this on then?
I don't have any big trips planned for next year just yet. I think a local buddy and YouTuber near me is Huck Outdoors. He's actually not too far from me, so I think we're probably going to do another trip. Hopefully, we'll squeak it in before the end of the year here. But there's a lot that I want to do in my area that is kind of on my list. There's portions of the JMT. You got the TRT, the Tahoe Rim Trail, Lost Trails, another one that I'd love to get on, but is hard to get a permit for. All that stuff is kind of what I'm eyeballing.
Very cool. Well, speaking of upcoming trips, I'm going to actually be out this weekend on the Appalachian Trail. I don't know if you guys heard me say that on the last stream, but I'm dialing in, and I've got to face some cold temps out there. So One of the things I picked up, I've obviously got my tights for obviously when I'm hiking during the day, but when it gets into the night, I picked up some stuff from Fayetteville. They've got a deal going on right now. I got it for 30% off. The reason why I'm mentioning this is it kind of ties into the conversation about staying warm on trail. This is a microgrid technology Polar Tech. So the reason why I like this so much, and again, I'm just going to read off some of the things on the tag itself, right? It is a technical fleece, and it's very efficient in terms of being breathable, moisture wicking, lightweight. But again, if you're thinking about like the Melanzana Polar Tech microgrid fleece, this is what these pants are made of. Now, I'm not going to be hiking around in these, but I am wearing them right now. Actually, I wore them all day when I was at work. They're so comfortable. They're extremely nice, but I'll be using this at camp underneath my shell. So when the wind's coming through, I'll have the tights, I'll have these fleece on my legs, and then I'll have the shell for the wind. So I'll be nice and insulated. But the reason why I'm bringing that up is I do have a couple pairs here that I picked up. This is one of those pairs, and I don't know if you can see the material here, if that comes across on the camera or not, but it is that same type of fabric. And I have a Melanzana here, a Melly per se. And I don't know, again, if you can see the texture on this, but it's the same material. It's the same Polar Tech material. The reason why this might be important to you guys out there, if you're trying to get a Melly, it's near impossible. And if you're going to have to travel to Leadville to get one or know someone in the area, Greg Morton, I would love to get another Melly. But the point of that conversation is there's substitutes. And a big shout out to Taylor for telling me more about this. Another item that I picked up is this Riley hoodie here. And again, if you look at this texture, I don't know if you can see this, but this a Fayetteville Riley hoodie. It's, again, Polar Tech material. This one's more or less a cooling fabric. So it's not something I'm going to be taking on this particular hike because it's going to be more of a moisture wicking sun shirt. But I'm dropping this. I don't get any kickbacks from this. I'm just saying I like this company. It works for me. So these are fleece items that I'll be using on trail, but they also accent other items that I've picked up. Specific to that, again, another question for Dave. You know, when we were hanging out in the Smokies recently, we were talking about the Senshi fleece. Now that you picked up one, what is your first impression on Senshi designs? And would you recommend getting this to anybody else that might be watching this video?
Oh yeah, dude, I plug your channel like all the time. I give you 100% props for that one because you're the one who I heard it from first. And I was like, all right, let me give it a run. I think there's a couple of different makers now that make something similar, and it almost looks like Swiss cheese when you hold it up. It's like very thin, and it doesn't look like it's actually going to insulate you that well, but it works really well. I have the Ren, and it's sort of like I guess the Melly as far as the limited stock. Like they do drops. I think it's a little bit easier because you don't have to go in person. You can just get it online, but you kind of have to like hunt around and see when the next drop is. The last one they did, I think, was the end of September. They haven't since. So a little bit more exclusive. You kind of got to like get on it and jump on it quick because it goes within a day or so. But I have the Ren. I actually picked up two because I love the first one so much. And I think you also said you picked up the Lark, right? So I'm looking to try that too.
So the Lark, yeah, I have it actually right here. This is the one of these versions. But to Dave's point, if you want to get one of these fleeces, you have to sign up on their wait list. In this particular case, now they're doing pre-orders. But there's going to be various different colors that they drop. So again, if you can't get a Melly, I'm giving you resources of places that have similar products like Fayetteville or Senshi Designs. Senshi Designs, I would say, is a lighter material than the Polar Tech material from Fayetteville. Even though this is a sun shirt, I'd still say that this is very thin. But the weight on this one is only, I believe, 3 ounces, if I can remember correctly. Let's see here. The large is 3.8 ounces. And the Lark, which is the one I just picked up, it's got a zipper on it. They don't even have it out here. They don't even have one available to show. Oh, well, that's. I
wanted to ask you about that though, Andy, because I think you tried it out, right? Can it get you down much farther than the Ren? Because I know it's made of a thicker material, and it is a little bit heavier.
Yeah, so I actually use it differently. So the Wren is something that I would hike in, and the Lark, to your point, it is a little thicker, so it'd be something that I would probably. Again, here's a zipper on that. I'd recommend this for like chilling. I wouldn't want to be hiking this one because it does matter. It's about double the weight. It's about 7 ounces, 7.5 ounces. But you definitely feel the heat on it when you are hiking. So I would say the Wren for hiking over a thermal shirt, like a nice Capilene shirt, and you should be fine without having to wear a jacket. So if you're watching this, this is a great active fleece to use. It's just something to throw out there in terms of recommendations for fleeces and so forth. All right, so I've been talking a bit here. Senior, Crow, do you guys have any topics, anything you want to throw out there, any shout outs you might want to give to channels you've been watching recently?
Only that modern day Pilgrim. I like to watch her channel. You guys may not watch it because she's not actually into backpacking too much. But she car camps and a lot of interesting information when I watch her channel. Because, you know, I'm at an age where that's starting to look like it will appeal to me in the future. Maybe some state park camping and dispersed camping out there on public land, things like that. Because, you know, I'm not a long distance hiker. That's beyond me. Anything over 5 miles, I start cussing. 3-5 miles, that's it, baby.
So, Crow,
I
have you
admire those guys like Crow that can go out there and he's going to go two weekends in a row. He's going to go do that Triple Crown. It's unbelievable.
It is unbelievable. Crow is a trail monster. But to give him some props, there's a level above Crow, right? So Crow, he's a 15 to 20 mile guy, right? That's your category, right? That's your sweet spot.
Yeah, I like 15 more than 20.
The wall hits me around 12, and then it starts. I feel every mile after that. So 15 is where you're like starting to feel it, and then everyone after that, you're like, I can stop here. I don't have to prove anything. I'm good at 15, right?
Yeah, 15 is where everything starts screaming. Knees, feet, definitely my body odor starts screaming at 15. But yeah, just about everything starts screaming at 15. I can still do 20s, but it's just not very enjoyable. I like about 15 because I still like to do miles, you know. But yeah, just give me 15. If I get 15, I feel like my over 50 body is doing okay.
Speaking of, though, you just got back from an incredible hike. You just put out a video of some of the extreme weather that you went through. But how many miles were you doing out there in the wilderness with Pax-a-Lot and J-Ben?
Well, it was a different kind of trip, and it was because Pax really wanted to do some fishing. And man, I'd forgotten how much I love fishing. I mean, I fished as a kid, and then you get out there, and man, once you get one of those brown or brook trout on, and you cook it on the fire, I was like, I fell in love again with fishing. I want to get back out and fish, you know. So I've been trying to take my son out to do a little fishing. But no, we didn't do but more. I mean, we did about 12, 14 miles, some days 10, just depending on where the lakes were, because we wanted to stop and fish, catch some fish, and then move on and cook them on the trail. So
you have been, doing different things on your channel. Can we see Crow maybe doing some hiking and then busting out a fishing pole in future hikes as well, maybe?
Yeah, that, or, I don't know. I may be doing some competitive volleyball. I don't know. Just anything. I don't know. No, just kidding.
You play volleyball. Doesn't Rob Pelton play volleyball, or he's a coach or something like that with volleyball, right?
I think he's a coach. Yeah, I think he's a coach of volleyball. Is he a volleyball coach? Yeah, I think so. I'm just joking. I've got all kinds of stuff going on with the channel. I even got the fishing part of. I kind of pulled the fishing stuff out of the Utah trip to do a little fishing thing. But hey, you said shout outs of channels. And yeah. I saw, I don't know, I don't think I'm able to comment, but I see a bunch of people on here. One of them is Tangent Trails is on here, and I appreciate him. He's been commenting on my channel so much, and I particularly like the people who who bear with me and watch my stupid videos, but he watches them for whatever reason. I'm sorry you have to watch them, but thanks so much for commenting. And let's see who else is on here. Of course, 12 Stones Adventure. What a great guy. He's on here somewhere, I think. And then my buddy, my partner in crime, Gone Feral with Squidly's out here. You always got to shout him out, because if I ever need to go hiking and I'm scared of the woods, he'll go with me.
For sure. Squidly is a great guy. Giving a good shout out here. Gone Feral Squidly is his YouTube channel. Make sure you check that out. 12 Stones Adventures, and obviously Tangent Trails. Thank you so much for being here. In fact, I'm going to give a couple shout outs myself. In fact, I'll get into what we're doing in the near future, but I do want to give a few shout outs to people I've been hiking with recently. In the Red River Gorge, out on trail, we had Mike out there with us for the first time. Got to do a lot of trails with him. Big shout out to him. He does a great job on his videos. So if you haven't heard of Out on Trail, make sure you go check out his channel. Definitely a great person to hike with, and his videos are awesome. Speaking of other people we've met up in the Red River Gorge, Tanya Browning, another great channel on the come up. Make sure you check her channel out. She does go out to a lot of YouTube meetups. Got to meet her for the first time. Great person. Glad I got to meet her at that event. Some other people that I want to give a shout out to, Texas Hikeaholics. They actually supported me in a recent campaign with Movember. I'm still doing that. That's why I have this mustache here. I'm raising money for men's health. If you haven't heard of Movember, go to Movember.com. There's a lot of information around how it helps those impacted by prostate cancer and colon cancer. But Texas Hikeaholics actually supported me recently. I've been watching their channel for a number of months, if not years at this point. So make sure you check out their channel. Minute on the Mountain. He's almost to 1,000 subscribers. So if you could please go check out this channel. Help him get over that mark. 1K is almost there. Anybody that's hit that milestone knows how awesome that is to get to that point. Big shout out to Minute on the Mountain. He's been watching my channel, commenting a lot. But since he's so close to that goal, let's help him. Let's support him. Let's put him over that mark. So make sure you check out Minute on the Mountain.
Hey, I'll let me second that, Andy. The Minute on the Mountain. If you haven't not watched his channel, like it's John Bales, I think is his name, and he has a little. It's called Minute on the Mountain because he does a verse for 1 minute in his videos at the end or at the start. And I think he's somewhat of a pastor on the side, but man, it's so inspirational, and his family is such a wonderful people. I mean, I just think the world of him. I hope someday I can meet him.
I agree. In fact, if you just saw his recent video, him going out fishing and hiking, he's out there not only fishing, but then he's hunting grouse and he's hiking. So if you want to talk about upping your game, in addition to having scriptures in his mind while he's walking and be able to repeat it, big shout out. Love this channel. Make sure you check out his channel. Great channel. S&T Outdoors. Been friends with Huck since I was in high school, right? And he's at 723 subscribers. This is a great family-friendly channel. Lots of family-friendly hikes. So a lot of different variety in the channels that we're recommending here. But make sure you check them out. They also helped support me in the recent Movember campaign. Thank you so much, S&T Outdoors. Make sure you check out their channel. We just talked about Atypical Hiker, but here it is. Make sure you check out Kevin. Kevin, I love you guys. See you soon. Cash Max Trail Time. All right, Crow, help me out here. Is this somebody we should be supporting or what? He's a hiker, right? He is definitely who he says, and he does some great things, right?
So yeah, in Utah, I could not keep up with him. But of course, he was used to elevation, and I was taking all that elevation medicine. So I don't know. I had some stomach issues with that stuff. But I tell you what, that dude can absolutely climb. Like he's one of those peak baggers. So he's always trying to find a peak. And he goes, one day we went to one peak and I was like, I'm done. And then he went to another one and then came back to where we were. Just an absolute beast of a hiker. I think, he lost a lot of weight hiking. It was part of his journey. And the guy is just a great Mike. It's Mike. So he's just a great guy.
So big shout out to Cash Max. He's almost to 100 subscribers. With 23 people in the room, if you haven't already subscribed, make sure you go check out his channel. And if you're enjoying this video tonight, make sure you hit the like button. But in addition, if you want to be on this channel, make sure you reach out to me via Instagram, shoot me up a DM, and I'll obviously be able to talk to you a little bit better than just putting it out there on YouTube land. Or shoot me an email at metroonthemove@yahoo.com. Love to hear from you and also check out your channel. Another one that I want to give a shout out to, in fact, Crow, you were on it just a few minutes ago, was 12 Stone Adventures. He's been very supportive on the Old Crow Hiking Show, in addition to the hiking community as a whole. So big shout out to all of these channels. Again, all on the come up, under 1,000 subscribers. I'm sure if you're watching this video, it takes nothing to go over there and check out their channel, subscribe, and support them. They are great people in the hiking community. I definitely recommend checking out their channels.
Andy, I see a lot of people subbing. I'm reading the comments here on my phone, and a lot of people are subbing to these people. And that's what this community is all about. And this is what your project's going to be about.
That's correct.
It's coming up soon, right?
Coming up soon. We were almost close to that. You know, we're getting into 36 minutes, but I've been talking a lot here, so I want to kind of pass the mic around a little bit. And it looks like, Senior, you know, you've got some things that you want to say. So how about I lodge the mic over to you and ask you a couple quick questions. So this weekend, nothing's coming up, right? Nothing's planned. So when you're going to be laying out your gear, have you swapped out anything for your winter gear? Anything upgrades? Because I know you have different tents that you use, like the Lanshan Pro 2 and the Z-Packs, Duplex. What does your winter setup look like right now? What gear are you taking out when you go out to the Pine Mountain Trail?
In the wintertime, I'm stuck with the Z-Packs arc oil. I can't give up the arc on the backpack. Summertime, I use the arc blast. And I pretty much keep the same gear. As far as the tent, I'll use that full season Lanshan Pro, the full season one if it's going to be a fair weather hike and no rain, because it's warmer than the Z-Packs. That's a cold tent to me with all that half moon door. So I take it if I need to have light gear, I'll take it. But mainly if that's it. And then I have the Enlightened Equipment quilt. And recently I've got the Get Out Gear blanket coming. The 650. I think you guys all did a video already on it, but I'm Johnny come lately, and I've got the Royal Blue is on the way. So I'll do a quick review on that and try to cover things that maybe you guys didn't do. But that's about it for my gear.
So the quilt that you have, what was the degree on that?
It's a 10 degree. 10 degrees.
So with the Get Out Gear blanket, are you planning to use that as an additional layer, especially when it gets way cold, because it's a quilt?
Actually, I'm not sure. I think to me it seems that I haven't got it in hand yet, but to me it seems like it's a summer blanket. I use a Thermarest Proton now. They actually call it a summer blanket, because I know in the summertime, even on hot days at night, 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, I want to pull something up over me. You know, and that Proton blanket, I bought it as a summer blanket. That's how they advertise it, which to me, it's like a sleeping bag that they forgot to put the down feathers in. It's like 2 pieces of steel nylon, but that's the way it appears to me. So I'm hoping that maybe that, because it looks wide enough, and I'm hoping that's going to maybe replace that. But I don't know till I get it in hand exactly what I'll do with it.
So, hey, Ben McMillan's in the house.
What up, Ben? So speaking of quilts and so forth, Pro, you have the Enigma, right, for the winter months, or is that the Revelation? Which one do you have currently for the winter months?
Yeah, I started with the Revelation. It's the one that has the zip on the bottom, but it has that little air duct that comes in the bottom that gets my feet cold. So I switched to the Enigma, which has got the foot box, and I went with a zero bag because I'm old and my body gets cold. It's like molasses. So I switched to the zero bag. So when it gets even 20 degrees, I'm going with that zero.
That's zero. That's zero. Well, I gotta say thank you for getting me to get the Enigma. And for those that I don't know where mine's at. It's over there. I've got all my gear lofted around. That closed-in foot box is clutch, right? I mean, just being able to kick your feet into it and then doing the tuck. Do you do the straps too? I mean, do you strap it in or do you just tuck it in? That's a good question.
I'm a tucker.
Oh, I use one.
I'm a tucker.
Yeah, I use one strap. But Cole, I wanted to tell you, I got the 10 degree before I carry. I have my puffy pants and puffy jacket, so that's why I did the 10 degree. But
okay.
Yeah, zero might have been better, but I wear puffy pants. Well, of course, I wear a base layer now, the third one. They got base layer 2, and then there's one heavier. I wear those, and those puffy pants seems to be enough for me. And gloves, got to have gloves.
Dave's got some puffy pants. I saw those in the Smokies, right, Dave? That's the first time I've seen them.
Yeah, those are clutch.
No, really,
I gotta say,
you gotta have them puffy pants in the wintertime.
Well, Dave, so speaking of these pants, what was the name of those pants? I didn't catch that. What was the name of them again? They're called what?
I got a cheap pair from a Chinese company called Nature Hike, and I think they're only like $50-$60 because if you go with Enlightened or one of the other bigger names, I think you're gonna spend closer to 100 or possibly over. So I wasn't like super invested. I was kind of just like, let me give them a fly. And you know what? They work.
Hold on, I'm pulling this up right now. You guys have the Puff Daddy pants like this? This is something else. I'm seeing this.
Yeah, man, we were doing the MC Hammer dance out there.
Hold on.
Dave,
hold the phone, man. Hold it. Is it coming on yet?
I wanted to ask you something, Dave, about those pants. That my brother-in-law ordered those, and they were too tight. They were tight around the waist. Too tight.
Right. Yeah, you have to look at the sizing. Yeah, I went on Amazon. I think I got them from Amazon. So you have to look at the sizing and then the user comments to see, because a lot of them are, sized for, people living in that area, and it's not really like here in America. So usually you have to size up.
Well, I bet the bullet and bought
50% asbestos.
Oh my goodness! So I like this right here. They're breakaways. Hold on.
Oh.
Have you broken away like this? Like,
if I did that, it would just be like feathers everywhere.
That's what you're like to do, right? That's different. Okay, never mind. Okay.
That's the pair I got, like that, just like that. Zipped all the way
up. These pants, I would put Velcro on them, so they would be true breakaways. So you'd be at camp, you're ready. All right, ready to hit the trail. Just
And they're a lot less expensive because they're only like 50% asbestos and then 50% down. So
they ought to give them away.
They're guaranteed for life because they cut your lifespan in half, right?
But I find myself, like I said, I got the Enigma too, that because I want a foot box. I like a foot box. But you sleep in those things in your puffy, I'm telling you, you can't beat it in the wintertime. Can't beat it.
Yeah, I mean, if anybody who's watching is a fan of Justin Outdoors, like, nobody's laughing about that. I mean, he's out there all the time in Canada.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, you gotta stay warm out there. I'm scared about this being in the 20s, and they're out there in the zeros and sub-zeros. It's like, oh, come on now, Southern boy, it can't be that bad. Well, I can't say knock on the puffies, because I got puffy here, right? This is what I wear. This is my Montbell Plasma 1000. This is 1,000 fill. I got this last year, and this has gone with me on most of my winter hikes. But this would actually go really well with your pants, man. I think this would be a nice combo. I wore this to work the other day, and I got some looks, though, because I guess it doesn't really fit like, corporate gear. But I thought it was nice. It's a nice jacket, right? It's pretty expensive. I'm wearing it. They're like, Puff Daddy, that style went out years ago. I'm like, come on, man. Come on. That's a nice jacket. So I get you, man. I get you. I feel you. So
Hiker trash doesn't work everywhere.
yeah, exactly. So getting into the announcement of what I wanted to say is that in the near future, I'm going to be bringing on guests, specifically, it could be unannounced, it could be announced, but the objective of what we're doing in the future is I want to make sure that everyone we bring on has either been recommending other channels. So as an example, just like we talked about today, some shout outs, I want to start bringing on hikers that are actually watching other hikers, and we'll also start to promote them. And with that being said, as we get to know more and more of those hikers, I would like to obviously bring you onto this show just to see what's going on in your world and talk about some of the challenges that you have. As we've all been hiking for a number of years and you've seen hundreds and hundreds of videos that we've done, there's only so many things that we can learn from our perspective. And it's just like, we want to learn from what you guys are doing. We want to see and experience your experience and support you along the way. So instead of saying, oh, I've already been there, done that, I want to see what you're doing. So make sure you are commenting on my channel. Tell me if you want me to come check out your channel. But again, every single guest that we bring on moving forward, the purpose is really to help promote other hikers within the hiker community. So this is a Hiker Hangout, talking about what's going on, what we're doing, and so forth. But at the same time, I would really like to share the wealth and share the love and start noticing others that are coming up and embrace them so we can learn more from you guys. And obviously you can share your channels with others. So that announcement that Senior was talking about, that's a little bit of that. I don't want to go into too much color about other projects that are in the works, but that's it. For the most part, I would like to mention that future guests, their objective is really to talk about other channels in addition to what gear we've got, what we've got going on, more or less to share the wealth. So that's the big announcement. And again, if you haven't figured that out about Hiker Hangout, it's all about the community aspect of it. It's about friendship and obviously expanding our network so we all get to know you. Because from my experience, when I started out, I'd say it was about 2 or 3 years that I really didn't know anyone out there. I was just kind of making videos and people would comment. And with that being said, one of the first people that was really commenting on my channel on a regular basis was Crow. Was Crow. And from that being said, I didn't know what was really going on, but we had a dialogue that kind of went back and forth. And in fact, it went from there. He was actually the first person I met from the internet. So, I mean, that's kind of like, I didn't do anything like that before. And when I met him, he was as genuine of a person as he was in his videos. So I'm actually vouching for Crow. He's a great guy all around. But in addition from there, he's gone on multiple hikes. I've gone on multiple hikes with him, and we've actually been in 5 different states. But it was all about, again, him being open to that and actually welcoming me into his group. And from there, there's some more funnier stories that we don't need to go into today, but we ended up knowing some of the same friends and taking it from there. Our group kind of expanded, and that's how we became the Pinhoti Mafia and a lot of those things. So again, it came from just opening up, responding to comments, but at the same time, embracing and letting me join. And now we've been in 5 different states together. In fact, Dave was on one of those hikes, and that was in North Carolina. And before I talk about it, Dave, how did we meet, and what happened on that hike?
Yeah, I don't even know. I think we just met through YouTube originally.
Yeah.
And we just, we were thinking it was actually the brainchild of the Smokies trip was Jared. So let me cut out my shout outs right here too. Be Jared from Outside Comfort Zone. He was the one who kind of threw that trip together. His wife Patty had actually just welcomed their first child. Son Augie, and her channel is Girl Plus Dog Adventures, another great channel. And then I got a couple others. One is my buddy Calman, who's over in Montana. He's actually already doing winter camping, and his channel is Everyday Backpacker. And then sort of like through like the same circle, I met Jim from Lost Again with Jim. He's somewhere near the Reno area, and all great channels. Definitely recommend all of them. But yeah, I think we just kind of met in that way. I mean, that's kind of why I started my channel too. It's just a great community that I felt like I was already a part of, even though we kind of just live in all the corners of the country.
That's true. That's just that hike that you guys put together with Jared from Outside Comfort Zone. That was in the Smokies. And who else was on that adventure?
We have Melissa, the Unlikely Hiker. That's another shout out we can do. We had the King of Kentucky backpacking, Mr. Jeremiah Stringer. We had Crow, and who else? Am I forgetting anybody else? I think it was just Jared's brother, but he doesn't have a channel. But I think that pretty much rounded it out.
So yeah, I was really again. Dave reached out. He invited me, and I was like, "Wow, you want me to come meet you guys?" Unfortunately, I was able to do the whole hike with him, but on the 20-mile loop, kind of the path cross that came in from the opposite side of the mountain in the Smokies, and we met up at Camp 92. And what I was told about this campsite, which I didn't tell everyone, or maybe I did, the ranger told me specifically, like, listen, at this particular campsite, you may see bears because not a lot of people go to this campsite. Did you guys hear that?
I had no idea.
Yeah, he was like, make sure. He even warned me. He said, do not leave your food bag more than 5 feet away from you at any given moment. He goes, it's that serious. So we were in the middle of a bear's den and didn't even know it. But I mean, it's the Smokies. You know, you're going to see bears. But I was completely surprised at how much he kept warning me over and over. I was like, gosh, no, it's not my first time hiking. I mean, come on now. But
yeah, that's crazy.
I would have been in your tent that night, Andy, because you were right next to me.
Well, yeah, we were close. We were very close. I mean, we actually parked. Our duplexes could have actually had like a little tarp in between, and they would have been connected. We were so close. But yeah,
I would have been in the fetal position if I'd have known that.
I was more worried about the mosquitoes, man. It was almost like the Congo we were in. It was super hot, and we had a couple of different water sources, so I can
all around
see why bears would be popping in and out, though.
All around. Oh my gosh. Well, we got a question from Modern Day Pilgrim. It says, Metro, I'm pulling up here on the screen. It's coming up or not.
Nancy Faye, that's her name, Nancy Faye.
They want to know who our favorite hikers are. So I don't want to go first. Senior, I'm going to let you go ahead and take the ball on that
one. None of them. I watch a lot of them. What can I say? I look forward to a lot of them. I like Tom Walker. I like to watch Falling Walker's World. He produces one that I like. Crow produces funny. In fact, she even commented that she thinks you're really funny, Crow, Brad.
It's just an act. I'm not that funny, really. Y'all know me. I'm not that funny.
I beg to differ.
But I tell you, I've got a lot of loyal commenters, and all my commenters, I do watch their channels. I owe that to them, you know. I'm not going to watch a 30-minute channel, Crow.
You're not going to watch it.
There's a limit.
I do make the effort to watch just about anybody that comments on my video. That's the most important thing. They're pretty loyal too. I got the same ones that comment over and over and over just about every time. And I do watch their channels. That's it.
You talking about big channels, Andy? Because
inspiration. I mean, Modern Day Pilgrim put that question out there. Like, who's your favorite hiker? I would say inspirational hikers. Who got you into the mix? I guess that would be your inspiration for doing YouTube. Is my definition of it. So I got my answer, but I'll let you keep going if you got one you want to talk about.
My two, and the only reason I'm doing YouTube is because of Evan's backpacking videos and Early Riser. Those two channels. That's the only reason I've done YouTube, is because, and Evan doesn't do as many videos anymore, but I just love his videos. I don't care how long they are. I'll watch them. And Early Riser, he's so inspirational. Those two people are the ones that got me. And then, of course, John. I mean, John was one of the first people I met on YouTube. He was the first person that invited me to go on a hike. He's brutally honest with me. So I know he's a friend because he'll tell me hey, you need to do this, do that. And he's just a genuine guy. So those three people are the people that inspired me.
Well, I got mine pulled up on the screen here, so I'm going to pull this up here. Evans was a good inspiration for me as well. Evan's backpacking videos, his humor was priceless. And I could see how you would drift to that in terms of how he put together his videos and his humor. I could see how that'd be big for you. But this is probably the number one person that I would say that inspired me beyond Darwin. But I'm not going to give him too much props. I want to give John Z some credit here because he's not known nearly as much. If you haven't seen his channel, I recommend to all of you to go check out his videos. He's probably the number one YouTube hiker I've ever seen. Now, he's hidden a lot of his videos. And he actually, Palante Packs, if you have ever heard of them before, he was affiliated with that in terms of designing and actually helping to make those products. But again, his videos are just so artistically well put together. The music that he selects, John Z, that would be probably my inspiration. If I could even get close to doing the quality of videos that he's done, that's it. And the other person I would say that inspires me is Senior Hiker 77, and I'm being 100% here. You guys really helped me in a lot of different ways, and I'm just really proud that I can call you guys friends on so many different levels because we've been able to share hiking, but we've also been able to resonate on a personal level. So I want to say thank you guys. You've been very inspirational to me. And you've kept me in the game in terms of my focus to consistently make content that I hope people still like. Again, if you guys are liking this stream here, make sure you hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and obviously share this message with others because we'd love to have them come on, or yourself as well. Dave, who inspires you, man? Who is your inspiration that got you into this whole YouTube / hiking thing in terms of filming your adventures and all that stuff? Who would you say is your favorite hiker?
Yeah, that's a great question. I definitely have to echo like every single one of you guys. I'm a fan of like all your channels. Definitely. Well, for me, it's Metro because we're party pacers, what we like to call, so we're a little bit on the slower side. But Crow's an inspiration because he's he says Leonidas is that much faster, but I look up and Crow is gone, man. Like I don't know where he gets the jets from. But to kind of shout out a couple others, I was following Steven from My Life Outdoors before he had like 3,000 subscribers, and I was like talking about like good content. I was like, man, this guy should be so much higher than what he is right now. So it's great to see him kind of like exploding and finally like getting out there and doing a great job. Huck was one of the early ones from Huck Outdoors. Who kind of caught my eye. And then another one that I want to do is Devin from Backcountry Exposure. I think our styles are kind of similar. We're very technical and kind of how we break down our gear reviews and gear videos.
Sometimes backpacking sucks. Sometimes you get blisters.
So I got an echo. And then the last one I want to shout out is going to be Dan from Backpacking Adventures. He's out in Pennsylvania, and the guy just crushes it. So he's a beast.
Yeah.
Well, that's it, guys. That's really all I have on my side for today's episode. We're coming up on 1 hour. I know that once it gets past that point, people are like, all right. I think we've covered most of the topics, new gear, where we're going, and all the shout outs and hikers that inspire us. But again, if you guys really want to be on this channel, make sure you put a comment down below. Let me check out your channel. Obviously, I'll feature you, but at the same time, I might even bring you on so you can talk about who inspires you and also other channels that are watching you or who you support as well. I'd love to hear about all of that. So again, thank you to everyone on today's episode. Crow, Senior, Off Grid, definitely appreciate you guys, your friendship, and obviously your support on this channel as well. Look forward to seeing all of you guys in the near future. Heading out to the Appalachian Trail tomorrow. Donald, if you're seeing this from the Further Shuttle Appalachian, look forward to hiking some miles with you. We are going to freeze our butts off. And if you guys are looking for a shuttle in the North Georgia market, make sure you check out the Further Shuttle Appalachian. Great company, super reliable, great rates. With that being said, thank you guys. I appreciate it. Hey, hold on real quick. I'll get you in the green room. But thank you, everyone, for joining us. Until next time, let's keep moving.